Hi, I'm Lamborghini C, and welcome back to my channel. We're gonna get into it. So, welcome back to my channel, guys. Again, I'm Lamborghini C, and I want to address something. Do you know what time it is? Look, first of all, give yourself a round of applause. Jump up, cheer, whatever it is that you do to celebrate. Because guess what, guys? We made it, we made it, we made it. Look, we made it on a couple different fronts. One, we are in the second half of 2023. Oh my goodness. Like, if you guys have been watching the channel, you know, like I think last year when we started the channel, one of the first videos that I did, we actually touched on goal setting and the power of goal setting as we were entering into this magnificent, wonderful year of 2023. Oh my goodness. And then I know I came back to you guys because once the year started, I could not believe all of the shenanigans and the things that were going on. It was just, oh my goodness. When I tell you the year started off with a blast, oh my God. Like, some of the times I didn't know if I wanted to cheer, laugh, cry, just crawl in the bed or what. Like, this year has been one for the books. Look, and we're only halfway there. But thank goodness we survived it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have not. And again, so I'm joking when I kind of say, like, "Ooh, we made it and we survived." But no, seriously, take the time to pause, do some assessment. I think that, all too often, we don't take the time or the opportunity to have those little self check-ins for ourselves, whether it's to, kind of take a look at how maybe far we've grown in our career, how far we've grown, with our businesses, how far we've grown with our relationships, and also like spiritually, right? And then, of course, and financially as well. But, even from a maturity standpoint, like, I can say that I've seen growth in all of those areas. And more importantly, I find I'm learning me. That's kind of been the most important thing, I think, through this journey, right, of 2023. It's really given me an opportunity to step out of my shell in several different forums, right? Especially in business. It definitely continues to push me to step out of my shell, like literally stepping out of my shell as it relates to being an introvert and stepping into those extroverted, opportunities. But, I always tell folks I am an introvert who's a forced extrovert for business, right? Even just having this channel, like, this isn't something that you would necessarily see an introvert, sign up to do. And honestly, I felt led to do it. And speaking of the channel, we are monetized. So I am happy, happy, happy. Again, that was something that was on my list of goals as I entered into 2023. I started the channel last year because I felt an urging to do so. It's something that it crossed my mind a few times, and I just went for it. I said, you know what? I'm going to just start the channel. I will tell you, the channel has taken off kind of in a different scope or direction than I envisioned when I initially started it. It does have a bit of a more of a business focus. I'm definitely going to make intentional strides to make sure that I have balance across the board, because as I told you guys, I was going to bring you lifestyle, which also includes, financial business talk, but also relationship talk, beauty talk, which we've done, a few videos there. I hope you guys like my new locks, my new hair, thanks to my friend, like one of my very, very best girlfriends, who is thebomb.com. She hooked me up. So shouts out to Brandy for hooking it up. I can never just do anything ordinary. I always am extra, so I'm extraordinary with whatever I do. So I really love. This time around, I actually was able to find like a three-tone color. I love it, and it kind of gives a different look depending on the style that I choose to wear. So I'm doing kind of a half up, half down style, and so I'm loving it. But I'm telling you guys, like, so much has happened and transpired, especially like on the business front. Like, I would not have ever imagined that I would be where I am, like in my businesses. First of all, I entered the year of 2023 with one business, and now I have a few that, again, like, I feel like I was led by God, by the divine, to start them. He actually gave me several streams of income to embark upon. I remember I took my tablet, and again, it's this simple, guys. And that's why it's so important to really have a relationship with a power higher and greater than yourself, because I just, again, like, I don't take credit. I could not take credit for some of the things that have come to mind, or some of the things that I've embarked on doing. Like, it literally is inspiration is dropped into my spirit, and all I do is act. And, again, once you act and you move on what God or the universe has imparted into you to do, you will find that the pieces will begin to come together. You will begin to connect with people that can help you. You might connect with those individuals before the opportunity to maybe, work on something, or for them to help you, or vice versa for you to help them, comes about. But everything happens for a reason. That's why those divine connections are so imperative. I know, for myself, it was kind of shared to me, prophetically, that I was walking into a season where God was getting ready to begin to give me the answers before I even had the questions. And when I tell you, that has held so true since that time last year when that was prophesied to me. And so it helps me walk into things with confidence, even when I don't know, like, what direction it's going to go into, or why I'm even embarking on something, or why I'm even doing it. Like, there's been so many of those examples over the course of just like the last year, and this year even, like, in and of itself. And so, it's been phenomenal. Now, 2023 has not, kind of gone without its challenges, but honestly, in full reality, if I, think about this first half of the year, it hasn't been that challenging, and maybe it could be in part because of all the challenges that I've had in my past. Perhaps I have just been through maybe I've just been through so much that, when little things, that's what I think it is, guys, that now when this little stuff comes up, when you have people you thought was your friend or holding you down, hating on you, or I've had people hurt themselves to try to hurt me. And so, but it's shown growth for me, because I know for me in the past, I would be so furious and upset, and I would want to, like, confront them. And I used to have this thing about me that I can tell that God is kind of working out of me, where, I just had to let I had to let people know, like, when they were doing me wrong, I had to let them know I know, right? And now that stuff doesn't even matter, like, because I understand and I know what I'm walking into. And so it's been, for me, about being laser focused. Now, some of that has meant that I've had to step back. I've had to maybe step away, from some of the things that I was involved in, but I've been thrust into other things. So, there's those periods of time where sometimes I will go where I'm not as connected with certain individuals. But I tell you what, for me over the years, it has held tried and true, for me understanding who really is in my corner and who really has my back and who those true divine connections are in those friendships. Because when we connect, it's like we haven't skipped a beat, right? Because we all have busy lives and goals, whether it's our families, or children, or what have you, and their activities. We give each other that respect. When you love someone genuinely and you really want them to win, you give them that respect, right? And then it comes with a certain level of maturity of not feeling like everything is about you. Like, they have their own things going on. And so, we're going to get together and we're going to get our time, because we have to celebrate, we have celebrations to do, because we've been on it. But in the same vein, again, it also allows you to see maybe who's not necessarily in your corner when you kind of step away, because it gives you a different vantage point. That's one of the things that over the last 6 months, honestly probably more like 8 months, like that I've been learning more and more about, like, just from a divine spiritual perspective, where God has been kind of opening my eyes and my understanding around vantage points for people, whether it's financial, the vantage point of individuals, and their exposure to things in business, their vantage point, because it truly affects and impacts how someone acts, how they react, their thought processes, their knowledge to even know, to do certain things or to move in certain ways. Your vantage point clearly shapes all of that. It also, again, in my understanding of that, it's also one of the reasons that I challenge myself to step into different arenas that maybe aren't traditional for me, where I have to learn a new skill, because it greatly increases my vantage point. It gives me a wider lens to look at and to dissect, things as I maneuver throughout the world, literally, and begin to work globally and with different, individuals in other countries and what have you. It just, it enhances me, right? And so that whole understanding around vantage point, it also has helped me in just really my dealings with individuals, right? And being able to give them some grace, as well as even myself some grace. And just, again, sometimes, you know, you just have to, like, just let things go, or not even kind of confront certain things. And I've stepped away from some certain situations because, again, I realize it's really a matter of the individual's vantage point. Perhaps maybe they don't mean any harm, but sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And so, and I'll be honest with you, um I know for myself personally, because of all the different hats that I wear and all of the multitasking that I find myself doing, honestly, sometimes I'm just exhausted and I don't feel like teaching. I don't feel like teaching, at that moment. I don't feel like taking my energy to express or expose. So there are some, there's some times where maybe there are missed opportunities where I could take the time to try to explain to someone or give them a different perspective or vantage point. But you know what? Um, sometimes I just haven't felt like it, to be honest with you. And I think that's important too, and that's a learning as well, because we're in a time period where folks have become very self-centered, sometimes selfish. Like, people want the quick hit, right? They want the quick win, or they want you to do it for them, right? And that's even like from, like, when we talk about success, right, and this whole social media world, this whole IG, world, and people's personas, sometimes people really, like, feed on your energy, or they want to, right? Because, like, you can be someone, like, I'll speak for myself, right? Like, people will say, oh, you're glowing, like, you're, like, literally from the inside out. I know that I am, because, like, I literally every day, Like I start my day with my prayer and meditation time. I'm into, several years ago I got into my sound, um, my sound bowls, with the sounds, like understanding about the sound industry, the sound energy, and how it in fact impacts and affects your chakras and things of that nature. Like for years, I've been going and having my chakras aligned. Like I have, folks that are experts in that area and in Reiki and things like that. But a few years ago, I kind of got into it to gain more understanding for myself. And I have a couple of sound bowls. One is smaller that I'm able to travel with. Like oftentimes, especially like if I'm in Miami or going to Miami, I'll take it with me because sometimes I will get up in the mornings and I will like most often I where I stay, like I have a place that I normally stay at. I usually stay, like you can go on the balcony and then you can look over to the left and you'll see the ocean and have the view of the ocean, and then to the right you have the view of the city and Brickell, Miami. But oftentimes I will get up in the morning and I will go out on the balcony and I meditate there, like outside early in the morning, kind of before you're hearing all of the city noise with the hustle and bustle, because the reality is they kind of just got through partying at 5 or 6 in the morning anyway. So now the clubs are finally closed. So it's finally a little bit quiet. But so I'll go on the balcony and usually I will have my sound bowls and I will, kind of work with those, with the energy work and what have you. But I bring that up to say, right? So for those of us that really do like take the time to enhance ourselves spiritually, our inner man, our inner self, right, and our minds, we understand that that's a lot of what drives us. That's the energy. Like when you have that good energy that pulls people into you, right? They just have to meet you. Like, I don't know. I just, they'll come from across the room. Like now I'm going to speak in practical, like, real life terms or situations. Like you may, especially like for again, I'm a businesswoman, so that's, again, I talk a lot about business, financials, and things like that. But you can have like instances where, or I have had instances where people come from across the room. Like, I just had to come meet you. Hi, I'm so and so. And again, you're like, well, what is that? It's the what's in you. That's what it is that's drawing them in, right? Good energy attracts good, positive energy. Sometimes it can try to attract some negative. You can get some negative energy that tries to come your way. And again, you can just, again, you understand how to combat that. Um, but sometimes people, they'll want the results that you have without doing the work, right? So they want to try to come and be around you and soak up you and really drain you and become an energy vampire. And so you really just have to watch yourselves about, around that, especially like 2023 for me. And I talked to several friends that are, pretty in tune. And I was just speaking with someone recently, like the other day. This year alone has been so highly charged energetically. It is no joke. And I say that regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on, because let's keep it real, let's keep it 100, as the young kids say. Not everybody is worshiping or praising and praying to God. Okay? And so even those folks that are on the dark side and practicing, dark magic and doing their rituals and things like that, they have been on it. Okay. When you look at like some of the news and just some of the craziness and the things that have been going on. And so again, it baffles me as to like those of us that say that we serve God and that we are Christians, like why there's not that signal to you that you need to be on it that much more, for protection of yourself, like literally and spiritually and energetically. Um, but it has been, like I said, just the heightened energetic time. Again, and not all bad. Like I know for a lot of folks, like they've recognized for themselves, this has been a time and a season where they're just able to manifest things like crazy. I know for me, for Pisces, that is kind of time period that we're in. This is our year, baby. Because, we've had some years that, whew, I think like a 10-year cycle or what have you that, like it's been crazy. So, again, thank goodness, we survived. I'm thankful I don't look like what I've been through. And, again, it's that putting the work in and it's really learning from situations and really taking those things and growing, from them in every aspect, of our lives. And so, as we go into the second half of the year, I think this is so pivotal. This is like the perfect time to pull out those goals that you wrote at the beginning of the year and really start to measure and assess and go through them and do some checks and balances. Like I do this every year anyway. That's one of the reasons like that I am so pertinent about like writing down those goals and the things that I want to accomplish and being very detailed in them, even list the numbers and things like numbers of properties I want to have. If there's a vehicle I want to get, like I said, I have my goals, I have my vision board, which I have to do that too. So yes, like over the weekend, I know I will be doing that, going through that exercise, even around like how I want my relationships, shaped, and doing some assessment, like am I there, right? Because, like I said, you can get kind of caught up in growing something else, like your business or what have you. And, they say, well, you can have it all, but sometimes you can't have it all at the same time. You may have to like take some time away from like, let's say you were really a real fanatic around like the gym, right? And so some of again, like sometimes when you get in the grind mode, like with maybe a work project or something or like family or something, you might have to take a step back, right? Or kind of scale back. If you were going to the gym like 5 to 7 days a week, you might have to scale it back to 3 to 4, right? So that you can accomplish all of your goals, right? So we make certain adjustments. Like again, the time like I used to spend on the phone talking to, friends, associates, and certain folks, like I don't have that time now. Like realistically, and this, I know I said this to somebody and they might have felt away, but I was under pressure. I was a little bit stressed, but I let them know. I was like, honestly, like if you're not a client, I probably don't have phone time for you right now. And, I wasn't saying that to be mean, but I was being realistic with them on how my days shape up, right? Because literally, sometimes my days literally run from like 9 to 9, right? Or even in some cases, more like 7 to like 2 a.m. And so I'm getting a little bit away from that, which I'm happy to say. I've been able to put some measures in place and change some things that I was managing and how I was managing them. So that has helped me tremendously, right? Which I'm glad because I can tell, like, we're at the second half of the year. And the reality is all the multitasking, it catches up to you at some point in time. My body has been yearning and I've been verbalizing it out of my mouth that I need a break, like I need a vacation. The thing that I'm struggling with is because there's certain other goals that I want to accomplish. And so I think subconsciously I may even feel maybe I don't deserve a vacation, but I need a true vacation, not one like for the last year when I've left town, when I've been away. I've always been working. Like I've been attached to my 2 phones, right? I need to go to somebody's resort or island where I have a few days. Even usually for me, it's about 3 days. Like I need a day. Like when I first get there, this kind of vibe with my friend Heather. Like we'll, land on somebody's resort. Usually that first night we kind of scoping out the scene. We're getting checked in. We're gonna find like the bar area, drink some food, and kind of get a feel for like what's on the resort and what have you. And usually we end up meeting some people or what have you. And I need like a day at the beach, like literally like a whole day Sometimes I will fall asleep at the beach just listening to the waves, you know, take a few pictures, but barely on my phone. But literally, like a lot of times, like we will spend the whole day because we'll go wade in the water or play a game like where we're jumping waves, and just kind of catching up, having that girl talk. And then you're exhausted, right? Because jumping those waves, that is no small feat. That's actually very good from an exercise standpoint. And then because you're in salt water, it kind of like drains you a little bit. It kind of wears you out a little bit. And so, yeah, then I'll kind of lay on the beach and dry off, and a lot of times doze off, and wake up. And again, if you're at a resort, a lot of times they might have a cabana boy or somebody come by that's bringing you drinks or taking your order or whatever, and bringing stuff. So I literally, like I said, I have a whole day at the beach, and then I need a whole nother day, like in the pool, because usually there's going to be like a swim up bar or something, or somebody, coming and taking your order and what have you. Um, and that really, like, that time to have that relaxation refreshes me. In all honesty, it really gets me energized, like around my goals that much more. And so I know that that time is coming because I can feel the need for it coming up. But yeah, there's a few more things that I feel like I need to accomplish or solidify, perhaps before we make that happen. But guys, one of the things that I really, like I said, I kind of surprised me. Like I think it was last week where I actually got an email inviting me to apply for the monetization for YouTube, and so I was so happy about that and just ecstatic. And so, I'm glad to see what comes of that. Um, and it's just, again, I've gotten feedback from folks that do listen to the channel around just how helpful some of the tips and things have been that I've given. And so, and hopefully people are entertained as well. And like I said, I'm going to make it a point, like as we enter into the second half of the year, to do more content, more well-rounded content, to, have guests on, to have some real life discussions, right, around relationships and friendships and things of that nature. I think that that would be very, very interesting. I can't wait. I already can think of people that, I'd love to talk to. But, and definitely some fashion and beauty. I do want to talk about, oh my goodness, whew, these Chanel, you can tell I love Chanel, but I want to talk about these Chanel price increases. I'm not too mad though because I feel like I have like kind of what I want from Chanel or need. Honestly, like I haven't been in the Chanel store in like over a year. Like the last time I went was like last year on my birthday. I think it was last year on my birthday. Like I popped in there, which at that time it was interesting because it was like going to a club. They actually had it roped off, and like you had to kind of wait in line. They had a velvet rope, like literally, and then you had to like walk through the line, and like they took your name and information. And I think that was partly because for security purposes as well as like part of their COVID-19. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but the thing, measures that they had in place to be able to limit the amount of people inside the actual store. But yeah, it was a different feel. But I looked at like some of the bags and things that like they saw. Like I'm not into like just the trendy stuff, right? I can kind of like sometimes it may look cute, but like I'm not gonna invest. Like those bags have a price on them. I'm not really gonna invest in those because it's a trend. It's called a trend for a reason. It's going to go out of style. It's here for this season. I'm not so much into the seasons, things or into investing in those because it's going to be here for this season and it's going to go away. I like to, like as it relates to like the luxury brands, I like to invest in pieces that are are timeless, that are classics, that are gonna withstand time. Like even like when I think about like my Givenchy bag, like I wanted that bag for like 6 years. I talked myself, like I studied and researched it. I talked myself out of it. Then like Michael Kors came up with like a version that kind of looked like it, so I got that bag, and I was happy with that bag. And honestly, that bag fit my lifestyle because we have to be realistic, sometimes with the income level that I was at that time. I was Michael Kors. I wasn't Givenchy. I was Michael Kors. So I stayed in my lane, and I was happy with that bag. I had it for about 2 or 3 years. It might even be in my closet now. I have to double check and see. But it kind of got worn. But it did its thing. And then I want to say like 4 years ago, like an opportunity came about, and I kind of got um, an email or some correspondence. I kind of got put on to something like a store in Europe actually, where I was able to get that bag at kind of a discounted rate. And I'm kind of glad I waited because like over the years my style has changed. Like I've become more in tune with kind of what looks good on me and what I like. And I have this thing about the croc and boss, like especially like if it's black and gold hardware. Like I have this thing like when it comes to like bags, that's kind of my thing. I like the croc and boss with the gold hardware. And so, I'm happy with the bag that I did get, because it has those features. And again, to me, that's like timeless. It looks, classy, it looks sexy, and it's functional and what have you. And again, the same thing with the Chanel bags. But I'm definitely going to do a segment to talk about these price increases because, oh my goodness, like during, the period where we had the shutdowns and things like globally around the world, Chanel actually increased their prices like 3 times a year. People, I remember like going online, people were like literally crying, breaking down, like young girls and even probably some old ones that were saying like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they did this to us. Like I've been saving for 5 years to get this bag, and it's like they keep moving the bar and what have you. And so, it makes you feel bad, but clearly that's when I started to realize and read like some of the analysts like reports. They're looking to move their brand into a different direction. One where I think they want to catch up or get as close to like the exclusivity of Hermes. And so that's what they're trying to do there. So I definitely want to come back and talk about that and just kind of share some of the research and things that I've done, in that area. But again, like happy second half of the year. Let's go get it, guys. Again, like keep driving to your goals and to your dreams. As you're driving, make sure that you kind of schedule or make sure that you set aside that time to rejuvenate and refresh yourselves as well. But, congratulations, you made it. Let's go get it. Bye.